Namaste everyone. My name is Pawan and I welcome you all towards our YouTube channel. So we started with an initiative in terms of teaching for UPSC exam, especially starting with GS1 in terms of free preparation. And it's going to be completely on free basis, which we as a group of students we're coming together to just support you within the domain of your civil service exam because we believe that bureaucrats plays a very important role. But we can just mute. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. So now just want to give you a quick update. So today we'll be starting with the first chapter in our history, which is very important. And I've written it down in the form of notes. Why? Because the more it's simplified for you, it's going to be much easier for you, because clearing the exam in a very short span of time, it's important that you need to have a knowledge within the small keywords or short notes. When that short notes is there with, trust me, it's going to be super, super, super easy for you. Why? Because you know the entire flow of preparation. That is why I've personally written down the notes for you all. Okay. Now, starting with the first important point, which I want to highlight, is about before you start preparing for the history, you just need to know that if you want to refer to other external sources, please be free enough to refer to NCRT notes. That's very important. Along with that, there is a Tamil Nadu state book for history that is very much used by for civil service exam. You can still refer to that. And one standard book, if you want, you can basically refer to it. But don't buy so much materials for civil service exam. It's not required because it's literally a waste of money. Plus, if you're very sure that how you need to channelize and prepare for your resources, that's very important. One of the topics was telling that what maximum revision, minimum resources, that would be more than enough. So now let's get started. The first point would be about we'll be covering today the major chapters about Stone Age. What is Stone Age? Everything like a small nutshell, we'll be covering it up. But over the period of time, we will try to dissect and we'll be going to different stages, why it is important, why Stone Age was important, why different kind of ages came into existence. We'll try to understand in depth. Now, remember that for your prelims perspective, especially for ancient, medieval, and modern history is going to be asked for the exam. Generally, for prelims, world history is not asked. Remember that for your prelims exam, ancient history is going to be asked, medieval history is going to be asked, modern history is going to be asked, but about not much about this world history. And along with that, for the mains aspect is very much important, like ancient, medieval, modern plus world history. You should be knowing. We'll be covering it up everything in the depth. So now let's start with the first important concept. Okay, we have three important ages which shall be discussing one by one. The first one is what? The first one is the Stone Age. I'll repeat once again. The first age is Stone Age. Okay. Second age is basically Bronze Age. And the third age is basically the Iron Age. Okay. So if I want to simplify it, I've put an arrow mark for all of you, just for your simple understanding. Okay. In the Stone Age, it was actually prehistoric time. What do you mean by prehistoric time? No written records was there at that point of time. What do you mean by no written records? At that point of time, do you think that Stone Age did people carry some book pen with them? No, obviously, that's bullshit. We can't even think like that. So it's very important for you to know that during the Stone Age, it was like no written records was basically there. Now the second age which gradually came was about Bronze Age. People start gradually using bronze a lot. So that's the reason we're giving reference to that. Okay. Bronze Age is also known as to be what? Proto-historic time, which basically means that the script during the Indus Valley civilization was basically there. See, if you observe this Indus Valley civilization is super interesting. You know what? If you observe the script of this Indus Valley civilization, you will not understand anything, but you'll be really mesmerized to see that such a beautiful culture we had this Indus Valley civilization. Do you have any guesses where this Indus Valley civilization is there first? It is in Pakistan. So the story of Indus Valley civilization goes like this. Okay. So what happened? This in Pakistan. Actually, now Indus Valley civilization, this all this monument structure, you'll be seeing it in Pakistan. So story goes like this. Okay. So for this, when Britishers, when they came to India, they were actually constructing this railway bases. They were literally digging out one by one, and they saw that below the earth surface, I mean below the soil, there was something shocking incident inside that particular place. What is it? They saw different kind of bricks. They saw different kind of drainage system being aligned. There has been different kind of toll. There is different types of money mechanism was there inside the soil. They became super curious, and then they called their archaeology department team in India at that point of time. We called archaeologists, we start excavating, and then we discovered a lot. So this not happened during when bronze time. So but you remember over here I just said that the written records is basically there. Okay, written records is basically be there, but it is not understood. Okay, obviously you cannot understand it. Okay, you cannot literally understand it because the written records is there and it is in pictorial format. That is the reason you cannot understand it much. Third comes what? The Iron Age. The Iron Age is super important. You know why? Because it is during the historic period time. Here in this modern Iron Age time which we have now, at that point of time it is very well understood what the script which was there, no, that can also be understood. Very simple. Let me quickly summarize. We learned the Stone Age, we learned the Bronze Age and Iron Age. In Stone Age, what happened? In Stone Age, prehistoric time, there was no written record. Literally no written record. Then gradually came what? Bronze Age. It was basically what? Proto-historic time. That means what? The written record was basically there. It's basically like, script is there. Okay? Script is there, but it's not understood. Whereas in Iron Age, script is there, plus it's also been understood. Now let's try to understand about the Stone Age. The Stone Age has three important parallel periods which is assigned towards it. The first one is Paleolithic or the Old Stone Age. I'll repeat once again. It's okay, nothing complicated. It's called as what? Paleolithic, or it's also known as Old Stone Age. The second, it's known as Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age. And third is known as what? Neolithic or the New Stone Age. So let's try to understand. Okay. Now remember, from UPSC exam perspective, they can give you a particular place and they can ask under Stone Age, does this place come under Stone Age? So and so they can ask this question. That's the reason I mentioned in the bracket. Now let's try to understand. Under Stone Age, there are three ages. No, let's try to understand what is this Paleolithic or Stone Age. The Paleolithic age, the Paleolithic culture developed in Palestone period. So what is it? I'll try to explain one by one. So don't worry. Now we're going to learn each of these periods ages one by one. So in Paleolithic age is divided into three phases. So what is it? How is it divided into three phases? The first one is known as early or lower Paleolithic time. Second, it was about middle Paleolithic time. Third, it was basically upper Paleolithic time. Okay. Remember, we're learning about Paleolithic age. Paleolithic was further divided into three classifications: early, middle, and upper time. Now, the famous sites of Old Stone Age are what? In the Soane Valley and the Potwar Plateau in the northwestern India. It's something very important for us to know. Okay, remember the place. Places are very important for civil service exam. Okay, they can ask, does this place comes under this Stone Age period? They can ask such kind of questions. So Soane Valley is just very important aspect. The second is the Sivalik Hills on the North India. That's very much important. And Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. Bhimbetka place, I can't even tell you guys, lot of paintings has been discovered at that point of time. Okay, Bhimbetka. D is about Adamgarh Hill in Narmada Valley. That is also one of the places of the Stone Age, Old Stone Age. Adamgarh. The next E point is about Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh. And Atrimo, Atrium, Athirom Pakkam near Chennai. It's Tamil, this one, so I'm not able to pronounce it, but yeah, this is also one of the areas of Stone Age. Now, these three places are very important, okay? Bhimbetka, Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh is very important. Hunsgai as well as Kurnool caves in Stone Age are very important. Remember the places they can ask you a lot of questions. You just need to be super prepared during this. What all basically happened in this Paleolithic time. Now let's try to understand in depth what really happened in this particular period. Now Stone Age, before 10,000 BC, the hunting animals and gathering edible plants and tubers, hunter-gatherers was it. So remember, okay, during Paleolithic time, who were there? This hunter-gatherers was there. What do these hunter-gatherers do? Remember, no, there's like this wild people. They used to have this big color, or it's like hammer thing. They used to keep on watching. I've seen this movies and all, right? Like this freak people with, I think, this tribal people like this electric shock cute hair. These people in this bear chest, they used to keep on going, and then they used to have this hammer thing in their hand and they used to go all right. At that point of time is what we're learning now about Stone Age. Okay, at that point of time they was using significantly more of stone. That's the reason that place, that age is also considered to be what? The Stone Age. They were hunting animals. Okay, they were eating plants. It's not they were eating it, but yeah, this is how they used to work out. Now, little knowledge of language and community. They didn't have any knowledge of language. They used to be like very silent. You've seen this cartoon movies and all this, like hunters, they don't speak much. They're like that silent mode they were following a lot. Now, along with that, little knowledge of language and community. Few old Stone Age paintings has basically been found in Bhimbetka time. So very simple, not complicated. In old Stone Age, what happened? It was during 10,000 BC time. What happened? They were hunting animals. They didn't know language. Okay, very simple. They didn't know the language. They used to use the stone tools. Okay, hand-sized, flacking, and large pedals. They were using it. Okay, that's it. That is a simple concept of Stone Age. Okay, now let me learn about what is this Middle Stone Age. Okay, now Middle Stone Age means what? Freezing environment, warmed up. Climate change is a natural process phenomena. Accelerated process is more done by humans. So what happened? I'll tell you one story. Okay, do you think that Do you literally think that climate change is only because of humans? No, yaar. The earth phenomena keeps on changing. And the earth phenomena keeps on changing, there is other kind of parallel elements which keeps on happening. Other kind of parallel elements which keeps on happening. Which means what? I'll tell you. Which basically means that the freezing environment is there. At that point of time, the in the middle Stone Age time, there was a freezing environment. Okay, there was completely a freezing environment. Is it because of humans? No, yeah, humans itself was less at that point of time. Okay, they were there, but it is a natural phenomenon. It was freezing environment, and the climate started changing one by one. Then what happened? Let's try to understand. See, remember, history is like a story. You understand a story, it's like awesome. Better you can study it. Okay. Now, in the Middle Stone Age, the Paleolithic period, the climate change, when the climate change basically occurred, the Holocenic period shifted to the Mesolithic period. That means that gradually there was much kind of rough changes which basically happened. That means this Paleolithic period, there was a shift from Paleolithic to Mesolithic just because of the climate change. Just remember it. I'll explain to you in detail what is Mesolithic and all over the period of time. Don't get confused. Okay. During this time, especially during this entire time zone, which is roughly between 10,000 BC to 6,000 BC, the transition phase was between, what is it, the first one? Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic. So there was a shift from Paleolithic to the Neolithic because of what are the factors? Because of the Mesolithic factors. That means that the Stone Age itself was basically colluded because of climate change. And climate change, which basically occurred, led to what? A Neolithic stage because of this Mesolithic period. Okay, no much complication. Now, different types of stone tools is found. These tiny stone artifacts was called as microliths. I'll repeat once again. Okay, during the stone, especially in Stone Age, there were different kind of stone tools was found. Okay, they've seen this like hammer thing, that thing, all you've seen, right? Artifacts, and they were called they and these tiny stone artifacts was basically called as what? Microliths. Fishing started and small animal hunting rather than large. So at this point of time, you must know that during this Mesolithic time, no, during this mid time, little bit of what started? Fishing started, and along with that, small animal hunting started. Animal hunting started, and rather than large, so this is little bit the animal hunting, this little bit reduced, and they started consuming what? Fishing was this one. And little bit of agriculture was started during this what? Mesolithic period time. Okay, now remember, Stone Age, I already spoke about Paleolithic scene period, then I spoke about Mesolithic happened because of climate change. In Mesolithic, what happened? People started consuming what? Fish they started consuming. Then what did they do? They basically did what? Fish they started consuming. They also started small animal hunting, they started, and little bit of agriculture they started. Little they started eating fish, little bit of agriculture. Animal hunting rather than large, it was little bit reduced, and tending to settle was started. That means that over the period, if you observe, during Paleolithic time, people used to move from one place to another place, one place to another place, one place to another place. Now what happened was like they started settling down. Okay, they said, okay, let's have a family, let's settle down. आपको भी कुछ तो feeling हो ना, like beyond a point of time you keep on roaming, and then you decide to settle down in your life. Similar way, even obviously those people are also like our ancestors. Okay, they are so even they might also felt the same. All right, now let's learn about gradually about Neolithic age. Now what happened in Neolithic age? Very simple, yeah. Remarkable age of progress. Okay, it was from 6,000 BC to 4,000 BC. The places from Kashmir Valley, Chirand in Bihar, Belan Valley in UP, and other several places basically. So this has happened in the Neolithic period. So Neolithic age, which are the major places if they ask, if they have to tell that, it was basically in the Kashmir Valley, Chirand in Bihar, Belan Valley in UP, and other several places. Now, also remember that here farming and agriculture started existing. Okay, Neolithic time, what happened? Farming and agriculture started literally existing. South India, Musky, Brahmagiri, Halund, and Kodaikkal in Karnataka, Peyampalli in Tamil Nadu. These are the places of Neolithic age. Okay, very simple. I hope I didn't confuse you guys. Paleolithic time, full stone, like this nomads, they were sitting and moving from one places. What not they used to fear, they used to sit and eat like animals and all. Then little bit in Mesolithic period happened because of what? Climate change. Now, because of climate change, what are other things happened? Yeah, what happened? They started eating fish. Gradual shift. The atmosphere started changing. They stopped eating more of this one animals, and they decided, okay, let me just settle down. And Neolithic period, what happened? The farming started, agriculture started. That's very much important. Now, characteristics of NA. Neolithic period. That's what we are trying to learn now. Neolithic age. Okay. The practice of agriculture started. As I said to you, agriculture started. Domestication of animals started. That means that they started having these animals with them, like this, cattle rearing all started during this time. Polishing of stone tools started. That means what? They started polishing the stone tools, and manufacturing of pottery started. I'll tell you the story of pottery. Okay. Now, for example, you are born during that Neolithic period time. Now you started having farm. Okay, you have a farm. All right. You have lot of grains with you. You literally have lot of grains with you. Now you have to store. No, I'm just asking. You have a lot of money. What do you think? You will keep carry everything and go in one place to another place? Obviously not. You will try to save it. So what will you do? You will open a bank and you will put over. Similar way, they felt like even their grains they need to save. That's the reason they started making this pottery system. Pottery, pot, you've seen them. So they started this particular time. So it's very important for you to note down this. It's like a story also, but if you're able to remember the key points, present it to your exam would be more than enough. Now, led to be settled village communities. So they started like little bit, they started completely, they started settling it. As I was telling, I'm continuing the story of Neolithic period. Okay. The stone tools now basically became more polished. Mud bricks house was based. They started making houses with the help of mud and bricks. So at which time when did all this started? It's not like modern time. Old time they started with this mud and bricks. Wheels for potters was basically used. They used it for storage. Large used for coffins for burial was using. They started using this coffins for burial. Coffins are there, no, for burying people. They started during this. They used to be like if a person is dead, they put in this coffins, and that kind of burial started during this Neolithic time. Wheat, barley, rice, millet, domestication of sheep, goats, and clothes. Cattle rearing was basically being started. Even about cotton collection, everything. This little bit they started. Now remember the important place of Neolithic period, along with what I already explained to you. Couple of additional places. What? Meherga. I'll repeat once again. Meherga in Pakistan is something very important, and Barzohom. Barzohom, Kashmir and Jammu plays a very important role. So at that point of time, in Barzohom, there's an interesting fact, especially it is like in the modern Kashmir and Jammu time. No, they created these pit houses, and along with that, if the dog masters was buried together, that means that if a person died along with their master itself, the dog also would be buried. This one all was happened during the Barzohom period. I can't even imagine, but I hope you understood that fun part back, no, how it is at that point of time. So remember this. Now, next, after the Neolithic period started gradually was about this Chalcolithic period. Okay, what do you mean by Chalcolithic period? Chalcolithic period was basically about copper, and yeah, I have an interesting fact to tell you is about copper and bronze came to be used. What? They started using what? Copper and bronze they started using. Okay. Chalcolithic, which basically means what? Chalco means what? Copper. Lithic means what? Stone. Okay. So they started using it. That's the reason this period is called as what? Chalcolithic period. New technique of smelting metal and crafting metal craft started. So they started smelting the metals. That was little bit started. Stone tools was basically used. Began to travel for long distance to obtain meals. So to get food and all, what they do, they started traveling to long distance, and they started gathering out the food one by one, and they had the materials with them to get the food. Now the places in Chalcolithic period is important, like Ganeshwar, Jodhpur culture is very important at that point of time. This Ahar culture was basically being started. Kaita and Mahava culture was started. Jorwe culture and Inamgod, these are the important places and specific you need to know about this Chalcolithic period. Now gradually little bit they started with the Iron Age. Okay, what is this Iron Age? The Iron Age is basically referred to as the Vedic period. They can ask this question for the exam, especially for prelims. Iron Age is also known as a Vedic period. Okay. Now, the Southern Peninsula is often related to the megalithic burials. Okay. Southern Peninsula is often referred to this all kind of burials, this modern kind of burial and all started within the mechanism of this Iron Age. Okay. Megalithic means what? The large stone. Okay. At that point of time, they used to redefine the entire structure of how the houses used to be, how the stones used to be. Everything started coming one by one. The burial pits were covered in the stones. There was burial pits, that at that point of time, open burial, they used to just dig it in the soil, and gradually they started constructing this burial pits. And along with that, extensively, it was this Iron Age has basically been found in the South India. So here ends the first part of our class. In the next class, we'll be discussing about the Paleolithic art and culture. So the chapter 1 of the Stone Age has been completed. Now we'll be learning next about Paleolithic art and culture in the next video. Hope you all liked it, and I hope it was not boring for you. Okay, and if you do like this video, please do like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you feel about the class in the comments so I can make more content regarding it. Okay, shallow then. Take care. Bye bye. Wish you all have a great day. Okay, I'll end the class now and stop.